All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for all of you being here with us this evening as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in the Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we continue to do an amazing job of participating and engaging. So if everybody can drop me a one in the chat. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know that you're all set and ready to go. We can get this session started. All right, cool. See all the ones coming in. That was quick. I appreciate it. All right, so let me exit out of here. Ryan, good evening, sir. How are you?
My brother, I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Glad to be here as always. Peaceful
Yes, sir.
sanctuary. So ready to get things going. So man, fundamentally today, right? I guess Ryan, the news, right? You covered that happened at 2 a.m. where we saw the UK inflation remains above 10% for the seventh month. Right. So right out the gate, I want to start with that because that was the first thing in the wee hours of the morning, at least here in the United States. On 2 a.m., consumer price inflation rate in the United Kingdom eased to 10.1% year on year in March 2023, down from 10.4, right? But we're still high in February, but more than market expectations of 9.8%. The rate remained above the 10% mark for the seventh consecutive period, like the Bank of England's 2% target for almost 2 years, suggesting that policymakers, right, key, might continue to raise borrowing costs. All right, so we can see that the main upward pressure came from, again, non-alcoholic beverages, 19.1% versus 18% in February, recreation and culture, all right, 4.6 versus 4%, and miscellaneous goods and services. The cost of housing and utilities has also increased at a solid pace. Meanwhile, inflation slowed in both transportation and restaurants and hotels. The core inflation rate, which includes volatile items such as food and energy, was unchanged at 6.2%. That's a good thing in March, not far from September's record of 6.5, right? But it was uh, was unchanged, right? So it's not going in that upward direction, especially those energy prices. We know that was an issue before. So we'll continue. They've got some decisions to make with the Bank of England. So we'll continue to see how that goes and if that lends to further strength to the upside for the pound. Any questions on that report coming out of the UK this morning? That was pretty important.
No,
Oh,
sir.
oh, question. All right. Well, I hope everybody paid attention to that because it pushed that pound cash rate in our direction. So for people that were involved in that trade, it was actually a good thing that happened this morning. We needed that. So pushed it right, broke that little consolidation that it was having, little flag pattern that it created, and continued to move to the upside for us. So we had a direction right on that, right? So kudos to all of you who were able to participate in that position. And then, right, this one actually, it was crazy. I was just talking to Ryan about my Aussie NZD setup, and it looked like it was ready to make the decline. And New Zealand inflation rate eases to 6.7% in Q1. And you can see that that report came out at 645, right? So it missed. The forecast was 1.5. It eased to 1.2, which is cool that inflation is coming down, but it sent my Aussie NZD trade in the wrong direction. So, yeah, that is what it is. So that eased to 6.7%. What else today? Oil holds decline on demand jitters. So I know we were taking a look at that oil, and at that support and how it started to break lower, below 83. I think it was yesterday we were looking at. So it held below 79 today, losing 2% from the previous session. Okay, so we saw oil make the decline. And what else? That was pretty much the main thing today. Of course, this at 10 o'clock, we have the Reserve Bank of Australia, Governor Lowe is speaking, right? We know they put rates on pause just so they can get a better idea of what the effects, right, were as far as the rate hikes that they've made thus far. So they wanted to give it a little time to look at the data to see what's happening so far with those rate hikes. So he is speaking at 10 o'clock. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say. Also, there was another one I was looking at today. Euro final. I was reading something. I don't know if you read it, Ryan, but it was Lagarde who was speaking that she kind of hinted at the possibility of eventually lowering the inflation target range. So everybody's between 2 and 3% right now, ideally 2%. There was one article I was reading, can't find it right now, where they said she had kind of hinted at the possibility of raising that 2% level in the future, potentially. So don't know what to think about that just yet. So I don't know if I find that article. I'll make sure I post it in the Discord.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I got where I was reading that not today, but I did see that, so I found that to be quite interesting. So we'll see. I don't know if that's a near future thing or way off or just, who knows. But so that's where we are now. Tomorrow, we've got U.S. Unemployment claims. We know we had the claimant changes from the U.K. yesterday. And then we've got the Bank of Canada, Governor Macklin speaking tomorrow on Thursday. We've got FOMC members speaking all week this week. We actually had some, what was that? Today, I believe, that I saw. Yep, Goldsby spoke, and he is with Chicago, I think. So let's take a look at the DXY. So you can see here that the index, the dollar index, studied around 102 on Wednesday. As traders reassess the outlook for the Federal Reserve monetary policy, and the latest Fed commentary, James Bullard, right? We hear him talking all the time, shared with Reuters, favoring a higher terminal rate. So this is mixed now, right? So, but he's always hawkish, right? For the most part. So Bullard shared with Reuters favoring a higher terminal rate between 5.5% to 5.7% to subdue persistent inflation. Meanwhile, right, Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic told CNBC he saw a final 25 basis point rate hike before the pause to assess the impact of the economy, which is what Reserve Bank of Australia just recently did. They hiked it one more time, then they paused. We saw Canada pause rates, okay? But right now we see the market's currently pricing in at 86% chance the Fed would raise the Fed funds rate by a quarter point in May. Investors now anticipate the Fed's beige book and economic conditions on Wednesday, which that was today, as well as appearances from Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee and New York Fed President John Williams. So that was all from today. They spoke after catch up on that, but kind of mixed a lot of back and forth. It'll be interesting to see what the consensus is at the end of the day. So 86% chance right now that the market's pricing in for 25 basis points in May, but we'll see. We'll look at it over the next couple of weeks with the data and see if those chances increase or something happens and that estimate starts to decline in regards to the chances of them raising rates by 25 basis points. Anything else that you read today, Ryan, fundamentally that you might have caught on to?
No, I was just going over some of the Fed speakers and some of the hesitation that investors had because of some of the rhetoric that came out from some of those members. But that's it.
Yeah, that
I think I
makes
found
sense.
that article too on Lagarde.
On Lagarde, okay, I appreciate it. I can remember where I saw it. When I was scrolling through today, that one definitely caught my eye. So
Yeah,
we shall see. What'd you say?
She spoke the other day.
Okay.
On Monday she spoke.
Okay.
And I'm about to post it right now.
All right. Appreciate it. So let's take a look at the dollar, right? Kind of mixed, right? Bouncing around, not doing too much. A little bit bullish, right? There we saw it went bearish, so it's kind of just dancing around. You can see here as we move into here, it's moving right within this range right now. Okay, so we can see as we come into the Asian session, right, it's getting some bullish momentum. So we'll continue to watch out for that. We just read that, hey, the market's pricing in an 86% chance of another 25 basis point hike. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Okay. So right now, this is where we are on the dollar. Right. Any questions on the DXY?
No.
No. All right. Arrow, Randy. Okay. All right. So everybody should have control of their microphones now. So let's dive into, right. Let's go take a look at a couple setups that we've been following. And so let's take a look at that pound CAD to check the progress on that first. Here. So we'll take a look at this pound CAD, and we can see that when we look at it, we're in this range, but you see we've been moving bullish, right, off that support. Okay, so we got that official swing low now, right? We closed out the day strong, bullish side, and now as we start the Asian session, we see a little pushback. So what we'll do is we'll go straight to this 1 hour, okay? And we can see where the original setup, okay? So let me take these off the low. And take the cloud off for now, we'll put that back on. And this was your original setup here. And you can see off this daily support, out of this 80-20 zone, we're through 2 TP levels now, okay? So we hit TP2, so that's a 200 pip move. Okay, so that's a good move, right? For the week, right? We know the pound pairs can move, so we're through TP2 now, and now we are right. So if we put our cloud back on, if we look for that pound to continue bullish momentum, we are above the cloud now. Okay. So now we're looking fairly bullish, especially off that data, that inflation data. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out, clean this up, and we're just going to run the fibs to the upside for now, like so. Okay. So I'm going to take these out. Just delete all. It did. Okay. So I have to put those back in. And take this off. I want to look at this upside down. So what we want to see is a correction. All right. Take this down. So you can see we're right at the tip of that cloud on the 4. So what I would love to see is a correction to the downside if we can get it. Okay. Then a move back long. Like that. To kind of look for that low price for a potential buy. So we've got a 200 pip move on the 80-20 to the upside. It's gone through 2 TP levels. So now I would love to see it correct and continue to the upside, right? Continue that bullish momentum. Any questions on the pound CAD?
No.
Anybody still holding that long?
Kicked off on profit.
To profit? Congratulations. Congratulations. Glad you were able to take that trade. Yeah.
Nice work.
Good job. Good job. Drop my man Jeremy some 7s in the chat, everybody. Joy still holding. Drop her some 7s. Awesome job. Awesome job. All right.
I'm
Got it.
sorry, what does 7s mean?
What'd you say?
I was just curious, what does 7s mean? What's the significance of 7s?
That's kind of like our clap it up, right?
Oh,
And I got the lucky 7s, kind of like just giving people some kudos for taking the trade, right?
Gotcha.
Staying in the game.
nice. Nice.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So good job, right? And those go out to everybody, right? If you're participating, taking the setups, whether it's in demo or if it's your real account, right? Who cares? It's your journey, right? We don't worry about that in the group. Okay. So that's where we are. So let's see if we can get a correction, see if it holds, right? See if the cloud holds, access support, see if we can get price go into our buy zone. Maybe we can get a position to get long. All right. Okay, Joe, you're holding. That may be an opportunity for you to add to a position. But you know, the way that was running, where we caught it at the 80-20, right? It gives you a nice low price, right? And you can see how price moved 200 pips in a hurry. So that's the pound CAD. Let's continue to see how that goes. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at crude oil. Okay. We know that price can heavily impact the Canadian dollar, since that's the top commodity. And boy, oh boy, right? When you talk about just a straight support and resistance move, that's really nice, right? It's really nice, right? We were just talking about that, covering that, where it found that resistance, and you can see oil, right? So you guys read all those articles and you watch TV and you see they're talking about oil prices, you know exactly technically what they're talking about, okay? What they're talking about. So oil is below that 79.36 level, 78.69 right now. So if we continue to get further declines, you're probably going to see the Canadian dollar continue to weaken. Okay, so we're below that level. Let's take it down. And if we come into the 4, you can see how we had that trend line drawn. And you can see how it has been broken, right? To the downside. Okay, let me adjust that. Like so. There. And this one. Straight to that highest. There. There you go. In a trend line break, now we've broken this 79.36 level, and we're right at that outer trend line. Any questions on that oil scenario?
No.
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 All right. Nice clean move. Nice clean move. Let's drop this down to the 1. All right. Yeah. So it's gonna continue to move to the downside. All right. So there we are on oil. So let's go back. The other setup from this week that we're looking at is the Euro CAD. All right. So you can see, right? That one's lights out, right? Very powerful levels, those 80-20 levels. Okay. You can see about that zone, that price has moved over 100 pips. So that's 300 pips, right? In those 2 setups from this week. It's pretty good week. Now, what I'm looking at here is we're right at this level. So I am actually, whereas you got price to turn right over on that pound CAD and that AB boundary, I am actually now, I'm going to take this out because I feel like where we are at this resistance level, the top of that 8 boundary. So that's TP3, actually, top of that 8 boundary. We are at 4-hour resistance. This is leaning into right. So we may see a correction here. Okay. So this is one to keep an eye on. So similar, for some reason I thought it pushed higher, but it didn't. Hadn't done it, hadn't broken that at 4-hour yet. So we put this on, right? Put your cloud on. Like that. Similar scenario. Okay. Okay. So this one here compared to our pound CAD. So if we go back, take a look at this pound CAD. See this one, see how this one's already turning? This one's already turning over on us. So we might get the correction. Whereas when you look at the zero CAD, okay, right at the beginning stages of this move. Okay. So when I'm thinking counter trend up against this 4-hour resistance, right? So if I took these fibs out, let's do this. I take these fibs out and I take this cloud off, and you just look at structure, right? And see this here, okay? Straight across there, that resistance level, okay? Then you see that next level is here. Okay. So now whereas that pound CAD, right? At least by the time I saw it, it's already turned over a little bit. It gives us an opportunity to potentially make a play on this. Okay. So here's your scenario. This is how we come across these setups. It could be major for us. Okay. Either counter trend with the trend. So pound CAD's already taken off on us to the downside a little bit, so we're gonna leave that one. All right, and wait for it to give us a low price, then potentially get back long. There's this one. All right. We're gonna draw this one up right here. There. B boundary. All right, so it's kind of like you took a small position minimum entry zone there. Okay. We're gonna use that 127. Okay, like that. All right, so show you guys exactly what we're seeing when we find these setups that you see in the Discord. Right? That play out oftentimes. Okay, so here. It's there. Now, so you got a new AB boundary. Think about this. This is all we do. Okay. If I'm playing this to the counter, okay, we're looking for a B to C move. Okay. Potential 80-20. So we're looking for a move back down. Okay. All of you can do this. Okay. Here. Boom. So now, somebody tell me if it's 32, if we're playing this, right? Sell side at this 382, what is that going to be for us? What does that represent? This level. If we're going sell side, what does this level represent?
Take profit.
That's it. Okay. All right. So if you take your position here, right, right, you're looking for a B to C move, swing. Okay. That's going to be your minimum entry point for that move. Okay. You're looking for a correction. Okay. Or right, we know that if we move this out of the way, that's our 127. That's the top, right? That's the top zone, maximum entry point for 80-20 play. Bang. Like that. Do it like this so it shows. Okay. So you got a few options. If you're playing a larger swing and you're using a wider stop loss and you're trading small, it accumulates. Trust me. All right. All right. So when you play this move, you're trading small, you're looking for a higher strike rate. Stop loss is wide. Okay. So you're looking for that first position. Hey. Look for price to move down. Boom. Straight B to C move. There's only certain zones that we play. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Or price makes this. If it goes to the 382, it just hits your TP1, it hits your target. Okay. You got your second position at the maximum level. Okay. Same stop loss, right? But now, right, my distance is cut down between this position here, this sell position, the sell limit position, and my stop loss. Okay, it's cut down. Okay. It all goes down to risk management. All right. Now, make maybe a shallow retracement, move up to this level. We're looking for that trade to be taken in, and we look for it then to make the correction. Boom, like that. Okay. Let us swing. Market execution order, sell limit. Boom. Okay. If this turns over here and pushes down, you just delete your sell limit. Okay. Doesn't activate. Price didn't move that high. Okay. Here's my stop. Other way you could do it. Right. Depends on how you want to trade. Is you move that stop right above your high of that B boundary. Wait for a trend line break. Right. Should I say wait for a trend line break? Put your stop above the high prior to the trend line break, and you look to short. If you get stopped out, you look to try to play it at the next level. Okay. Totally up to you on how you want to play that. But that's that. The other way is hey, I'd like for this to continue long. I'm Euro bullish. CAD, Canada held rates. Oil prices declining. I'm going to let this decline. Price decline into my buy zone. And then I'm going to get long. Denny, what's your trade plan? I just told you. And we pretty much do the same thing over and over and over again. Questions? Comments? It's quiet. Either I'm doing a decent job or everybody's confused.
I'm
No, you're
good.
doing a decent job. It's got you thinking.
Very good job.
Appreciate it. All
Can
right.
I ask what you think about?
The trade plan. He said he presented a trade plan. I have been so procrastinating with that. Creating the trade plan, trying to decide what's the best time for me. Just that. So when he did all of that and he made it so simple, just made me think, why haven't I created it for myself? That's where I was.
Appreciate that
Right.
transparency.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's what these sessions are all about. It's one thing. It's always one thing to go through a training. It's another thing to constantly keep showing up for yourself and applying it. That's how you learn. That's the whole goal is to shorten your learning curve and compress time frame so you can get to where you want to be, ultimately a lot faster than just with a training. Like, hey, I did this training program, now I should be ready, right? There's always things that are new, things you evolve, and you're gonna have more questions as you evolve. So that's why we run these sections. Okay. So that's that, right? And in essence, if it's right, if right, if we are, hold on, I'm sorry, I forget to turn this off. So if we are in a market, right, that is downtrending, okay. It's literally the same thing in reverse. Right? It's the same thing in reverse. It's the same zone. Think about it. If my overall bias, right, and I want to trade with the trend, guess what? If I just want to wait on that, I need price to do this anyway. So if my overall bias is to the downside and the market from the top down is ultimately making higher highs and higher lows, then even if I say, hey, I'm going to trade with the trend, I need it to push higher anyway. Why? Because I want to sell at a high price. So whenever this new AB boundary forms, it presents the same scenario. Right? Over and over and over again. Yeah. Appreciate it, Brandon. Repetition is the mother of all skill. That's it. Right. So if we go right and we take a look and we go through the time rates now, your price is either trending, right, or right making higher highs and higher lows, right. You see how this U-turn? We know on our lower time frames, right, that's making waves. Okay, as we come into these levels. Okay, now this may continue right to the upside, but at some point we know that price likes to correct. Okay. But it's either gonna move up or down, or it's gonna move sideways. The market is very, very prolific. Okay. We just believe that when the market moves up or down and sideways, it's going to do it in waves. Okay. It's going to do it in waves. So you may say, well, price is in a range. Well, if it's in a big enough range, it's going to move from bottom to top. top to bottom in a range. It's going to move in ABCD ways when it does it. Right? So if you spot a range, especially on your higher time frames, and you say, oh, this is a 200 pip range, a 300 pip range, 400 pip range. Well, if it's going to continue to move back and forth in that range, it's going to do it in ABCD range, right? That's why we teach it fundamentally. Right? Okay. That's how we teach it. So that's it, right? So that's all we're doing. So if you look at something like a Euro USD, right? You see how this is a larger wave. Okay, let's move, right? As you move down to your daily wave, let's move, okay. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Right? Okay, it's moving. So this is where A, B, C to D pushes out. Okay, so if the dollar continues to weaken, you're going to see that continue to push. That's all it's doing. And the lower you move through the time frames, the more you zoom in. See?
Benny,
Yep.
a quick question. Assuming you want to play this pair Euro USD to the matching
Okay.
the extension,
Mhm.
where would you place the take profit levels on the fib?
This right here,
Yeah.
this is going to be, right? So you can set yourself up on multiple targets, right? And then it comes down to, hey, what time frame do I like to play? So this here, okay, a second. All right. So this here is my daily D extension. Okay. So you can say, you know what? This is my long-term target above that 114.98. And you can link that down. So then we see where that's coming in at. It's coming in above that 4 hour. Okay. So when we look at this is my daily 1.618D extension. Higher time frames control the lower time frames. Eventually, I want to see it here. Daily 1.618D extension. Okay. Now, if I'm looking at this 4 hour fib, because the lower the time frame, the smaller the wave, okay, I've got an 8-6 retracement. So my 4 hour target, if I'm playing this 4 hour fib and I'm looking to get out off this 4 hour fib, I'm going to get out right here. I'm going to look to take profit right there. Right? Because this fib is going to come to an end. 8-6 retracement, 1.18 extension. So once this 4 hour fib hits the level, we know that this current fib that's highlighted is going to disappear. Right? Boom, hit the target. Now, once price forms a high, a swing high after that D extension is hit at the 1.18, you're going to have a new fib. So this is the low price. That's my C. That's my lowest point within my AB boundary. And wherever that new high is going to form after that D extension is hit is going to be my new B. Okay. So at that point, it's the same game. Right? Is price going to correct right off that B boundary? Potentially move to a low price and then that'll give me another opportunity, okay, to get back in And now there's my daily extension right there. Now I'm running into my higher time frame extension. Okay, like that. Or it's the same scenario when a new AB boundary forms, right? It's here. Maybe I get a shallow retracement. Right. Comes to the 127. Then maybe we get that low price. And then we know there's those occasions where, right, price gives us that shallow, strong bullish momentum, and we don't get a deep retracement. We just run straight to the extension. But when we see that, and the reason why I'm going through this tonight is because whenever we see, right, once you get your trade plan together and you understand the zones in which you trade, all you need to see is a new AB boundary. Whatever time frame your trade plan, right? Whatever you say, hey, I love trading on this time frame or whatnot. If it's the 4, when I see this new AB boundary, I know I've got an opportunity for a correction, either off the B boundary or that 118, 127 zone after the shallow retracement, right? If I don't want to play those, which you have traders, hey, I only trade with the trend, that's fine. Then if my trade plan calls for, hey, a buy position at the 61.8, right? If I get a 61% discount, I'm going to look to get in, right? Then, and you say, hey, if my trade plan says I put the stop below the A, then I put the stop below the A. And if as long as it doesn't take out the A, it has no choice but to go my way. All I do have to do at that point is to adjust my take profit because I've got a deeper retracement now. So there's going to be less momentum to the upside to the extension. Okay. So, right, those of you know that's been with us for a while, right? The way I was trained is, hey, I like that 61.8 spot if I'm rolling with the trend. And I like that 786, right? That deeper retracement. So if it swings, break my positions up. And if it swings and it catches both, now I got 2 positions in profit and we're running. Okay. If you get in, say you're say you got in on a position, okay, and you're looking to swing trade this, right? So here was that low. We know what that represents on the daily time frame. All right, we've had that trend line break there for a while. So if I've gotten into this position, this $0 long position, say around that area, then if you say, you know what, I'm going to enter on my 4-hour, I'm playing off the daily, right? I'm playing off this daily 61.8 level. Price came down around this zone, found support. I go down to my 4-hour, my 1 hour, or whatever. I look to enter, right? Off the trend line break. But you could set, hey, my ultimate target is that daily 1.618. So at that point, if you don't want to get out at every fib, then you're just looking to add positions at every desired low price on your 4-hour fibs. So you could be in a position where I've got my initial, right? I've got my initial entry, okay, off the break. Now, every time a fib comes along that meets my rules, say like a 61.8 or deeper, then I'm going to look to add to this position. So you didn't really get it there, right? So say your rule was hard, hey, 61.8, 786. You didn't get an opportunity here, right? You didn't get an opportunity here, but you got opportunities here. So now you've got 3 positions running on the Euro USD long, and your TP for these positions is the daily 1.618. Everybody follow me on that? Drop me a 1, yes, no, tell me something.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So it just depends on, right, your psychology as a trader and how you want to play it, because you eventually develop to say, this is my trade idea. I've combined the fundamentals. I've got a bullish euro, the dollar. I've got a bearish crown on the weekly on the DXY. I'm looking for things to cool off. I look for further dollar declines, further euro upside. Then if nothing fundamentally changes in regards to your fundamental idea and your technicals are still in alignment, then you'll eventually develop to the point where there's no reason for me to get out of these positions. Right? Takes a while to get there, but there's no reason. Look, this, I still expect this to move to the upside. Okay. And so if you're moving along, guess what? This is already locked in. I've got my stop now way up here above this, below this A, right? So originally I might have had my stop here. Now I'm up here, so I'm locking some things in, right? And I'm moving along, okay? And I'm just gonna gradually start to lock in my positions if you want to keep those running, okay? Yeah. If you're the type of person that likes to take profit, take profit. Right? But you know, in those scenarios where you do have the patience and you're trading small, you're looking at compound positions, it's like, you know, when I first identified this on the daily and it hit these levels and it triple bottomed, it's like, so the market tells me otherwise, I'm looking at over 1,000 pips of bullish potential on the Euro USD. Right? And you can see that it hit this low point. What is this, March 13th, 14th? I mean, so you're just over a month. Right. And it's still running. Right. But you get to the point where you say, hey, all I need is a new AB bounty. I've done my top-down analysis, right? I've got my directional bias. I just need a new AB bounty to fire up. We're in business because that represents a trade opportunity. Don't need, go ahead. Somebody had a question, comment?
Yeah, Benny, I had a question. So if I decided to use the 4 hour for my trading zone, am I pulling my fib from my 1 hour and my weekly? Am I pulling it down to the lower time frame to get like everything you just no?
Just run your fib, right? Here.
Okay.
So you could try to, right? So you would try to, if you're swinging, you try to say, hey, I want to try to determine my directional bias, right? On my higher time frames. Okay. So and then you want to move to your daily, right? To try to figure out where you are in regards to a potential low price, right? So you see how this broke down and came into this level?
Yes.
Okay. Now it's like, all right, well, now I'm gonna go down to my 4 and I'm gonna look to enter and I'll run my fibs, right? To see where I've got an opportunity to get in. So that initial move, right? If you spotted this low price on this fib here, okay? If you spotted this low price on this fib here, then you come down and you say, you know what? I'm getting it off the trend line, right? Either a trend line break immediately or I'm getting it off a trend line break in a pullback, right? On my first fib, if it gives me the levels that I want, okay? A lot of times if I spot it off of a higher time frame like this, I'm coming down to like my 4 hour or, you know, your 1 hour, whatever you want to try to beat. And I'm looking for that.
Okay.
Right? Because if you just get a break, then it's like, you know what, I'll put my stop below the low. Right? And then I'll let it run. And then once those fibs get going, then you can look for, you know, opportunities to add to the position as long as it meets your rule.
That's good. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you can do that, right? So if you do nothing about, it's crazy. Like you can play it. So let me just erase off. Okay. Show you guys something really cool. Okay. Because the fibs like to set those extension targets, but you can, let me clean this up. Okay. Like this. Show you how you guys can play this. So this is a weekly. And I've got, so you had a prior level here at 104 because it established itself here. When this price moved up, right? Because charts move from left to right. So when this price moved up, it retested. Okay. And then it continued to move up, and then it came back down. Now this is a weekly chart. When it came down here to this level, right off this weekly, okay, you could have went down to your daily, your 4 hour, and just had your trend line break. And that would have put you in that move. That's why so whether you use a fib, you could use smart trade, whatever you're using. It's all about structure. The fibs just help you measure out based on the correction where
Where?
price could be headed, right?
Mhm.
But if you just wanted to say to yourself, oh, this is coming in at a higher time frame level of support. If it holds, I'm looking for a trend line break on my lower time frames. You can just hold it to the next resistance level if you wanted to. The fibs just help us out to say, well, say this was like a 61.8 retracement. Well, this D extension is up here. My correlating extension is up here. So that's telling me like there's a high probability shot that it's going to continue and blow right through these resistance levels eventually and get to that extension. Right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that. I'm in support here. Now I'm just gonna look. I want to take it back to 110. Right? See if I can get to 110. Right. So you can do it, right? So let's do this. Like this down. Right. This is the daily chart. There was my break. See that?
Yes.
Right. So you can play it. So you can play it like that on any time. That's why we always just say it. Like the fib is just putting a tuxedo, right, on the price tag, dressing it up. Right. So you could try to project, but you can easily come in and say, like, okay, I'm coming into support. I'm going down through my lower time frames. Okay. Right. And I'm looking for that bounce and the trend line break. Right.
Oh, wow.
So this, you see what I mean? So this
Wow.
was right, the original. Right. So you wouldn't carry that trend line down, you would bring it down different with the price action. But you know, so this puts you in a I think battery might be running. Right. So you can go down as low as you want to through your time frames once you come into those key levels and look for the reversals. Right. However you want to play it. Okay. So here, see where we are now. See how I moved right back to the top of this level.
Yes. Yeah,
Right?
that's good. Yes.
So you could just go right from level to level, which a lot of people trade it like that. Okay. The fibs just help you with your projection.
Yeah. That was good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Right. And then you have people that so it's working for me now. Right. So you have people that this is how they trade. Where the extra confirmation comes in with using that fib is oftentimes when you get this impulse move, when you go down to the lower time frames and you drop a fib from the high to the low and you let your smart fibs run, a lot of times right where you come into like these key levels of support, you'll have good confirmation with the 80-20 setup a lot of times. When that happens, a new AB boundary, or you've had a shallow retracement, prices push down to the 127. So you like, oh, not only do I have the structure there, right? Support level is also at 80-20 on the fib. So I'm looking for that price to reverse. So as it looks like price based on that measurement, it's exhausting a little bit. And we might find some buyers at this level and we're going to U-turn. That's why we do it, right? So when you go back and you look at something like that pound, like the pound gap that we spotted, okay? You can see how it came right into can't remember quite how I had that running now, but let's see if I can spot it. No, well, at this point, it was an 80-20 swing, right? And when we had that draw right at that daily support, and then it moved to the upside long. Okay. So we're looking bullish, right? Now you've got the same scenario. Okay. New AB boundary. If I'm trading with this trend and I expect it to continue long, then I'm just gonna wait for it to turn over. Low price. Okay. And then see if I can get a reaction. Ryan, anything to add to that?
Man, that was masterful. I've got nothing to follow that, bro.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So that's it, right? That's all we're doing is we're dressing up this price action, right? Took this off. Okay. Took these levels off. If you this off, these are daily levels. Price reversed. Okay. The fibs help us with the alignment and the confirmation because, right, we see multiple levels, but price didn't react at all these levels like it did here. See what I mean? So the fibs can help you with that. But you could just play, right? You see, look, right here. This is the first thing. We're doing top-down analysis. This is the first thing that we identified from the daily. That's clear, right? You see this zone right here, how price is holding, right? Is either here was the next level. It held, right? So when you see these zones like this and you look left on the chart, as you oftentimes hear people say, this can prompt me to say, okay, this looks like price is ranging a bit. Look here. Bottom to top, top to bottom. Look, it rejected again. It came down into this level again. I can easily go down to my 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute and say, you know what? If I get a trend line break, if it holds at these levels and I get a trend line break, I'm in. Or if it breaks bullish, it gives me a high and it pulls back on those lower time frames, I'm looking to get long. And you would have been right. All right. All right. When you study the charts, mark up your key U-turns. Your key U-turn levels on your higher time frame. Right. And then play the game over in your mind. Like, how would I have played this? Right. I spotted this zone. Here it is right here. Okay. Okay. It's all about watching the film. Okay. See the reaction. Okay. And this is before you ever put a fib on there, right? Okay. Touch there. So like that. We're moving through our lowest point. Hey. See that? This was your lowest point in the trend here. 1, 2, straight through. Okay. Here, your aggressive bullish candle. Boom. Okay. There's my move. All right. Straight to the upside. That's just raw price action. This is just dressing it up. And that's where you are. We're just looking for high probability reversal zones. That's it. All right, good people. I'll wrap it up for tonight's session. Great questions.
This was so good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome. So that is that. You're welcome. We will get back at it tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage, for the pre-New York session. See everybody soon.